YouTube, what's going on? Thank you for watching another one. If you missed the video that I actually spent recording this gameplay that I'm going to be creating a VOD review from, make sure you go check that out. It is actually very worth watching as a standalone video. However, one of the biggest things that I am focused on doing right now is improving my tank gameplay overall, and I think this game, while it was a win and we had some crazy plays, I still think there's plenty of room to improve. And while yes, stats are not really everything, I would say that they are a good starting place to indicating what it is you should be watching for. For me, I strive to make sure that my deaths per 10 are right around 5 right now. Obviously, the lower the better, generally speaking, but there are obviously nuances to this. The other thing that I look for is I look for my limbs to be 20 or higher per 10, and I do see both of those things being pretty well right on point. So really, what is it that I'm looking for? Well, the next stat I personally choose to look at is my damage. And if we look at my personal damage per 10, the damage per 10 was 8.4, while the limbs were 20. I honestly feel like, if I had to guess just by this, my target priority was a little off, and I bet you I was shooting the tank a lot. Let's find out. All right off the bat here, I think that my positioning is a little bit rough. This is something I've been working on a little bit more recently, is kind of understanding as a tank that I need to take space, and what space am I taking. Honestly, holding this point here is not necessarily a bad thing, but where I have both my Lifeweaver and my Hanzo over here, it may not be the best or worst thing necessarily, but a little minor tweak would be to actually position myself over here to help DM any of that initial damage, and I can always, worst case scenario, use my boosters to get over here. But that's a pretty nuanced thing. We're going to go ahead and fast forward a bit and get into the first fight territory. Let's back up just a little bit. I think I went past a pick from my Hanzo. Hanzo gets an initial pick on their Ashe, and then their Ashe gets a res, which is fine. And this is about where I realized that where I am is not going to provide much value. So I drop down, Monkey comes up top here, and I just go ahead and try my best to burst him down. Now, that said, I don't honestly think that was the worst starting target. This Mercy should have died here. Super unfortunate on my part, but I actually have the opportunity to go in. The boosters in was very dumb. That is something that's very minor. But I would say right now, I'm not seeing anything that's absolutely egregious. I'm backing off towards my supports here. This is good. Okay, we go ahead and push the Pharah. Pharah dies. This was a good pick. Now we have the Mercy. We're trying to prevent a res. And I ignore everybody else and go straight for the Mercy. This is good. Holding on to high ground. Drop a little bit. Go ahead and go on the Kiriko. This is actually really good target priority right off the bat. You know, we bursted the Winston originally, but right here, I do remember this is my very first mistake that was absolutely catastrophic, which is a very, very big phrase, but I knew right about here, I get the Kiriko. Why did I booster in? I'm noticing that I'm using my boosters kind of just off cooldown rather than actually having an intended purpose. This is a D.Va specific thing, but definitely something to be aware of. Right about here, I'm at less than 200 HP, and if we go ahead and go to free cam, we actually have no support. And had I been paying attention, I would have realized I have no support. While their backline doesn't either, we have a Sombra and me just basically hoping for the best. And as I recall, this Mega is gone because the Ashe just grabbed it. So unfortunately, the very best thing for me to do right about, well, honestly, even before now, would be to back out, but I don't. I'd stay, thinking, okay, I can get this cow right here. I go ahead and use boosters. I don't know where I'm shooting. I'm not looking for the Ashe, and that was a bad mistake on my part. I do almost get the Winston, but almost isn't quite good enough. All right, as I'm reapproaching, one of my supports gets a pick, but then unfortunately, one of my supports also gets picked off. Unfortunately, we are really low right now. We've now lost one of our damage as well. They've rezzed the one pick that we do have. And at this point, I just kind of realized that my Hanzo, which I've never actually looked to see where he was. My Hanzo is just doing Hanzo things. He's kind of hanging out over here with no support. He's just camping a mini, which is, I think there's a mini in that room. And, I mean, while it's not the worst thing, he is kind of on his own. Although he's also... Dude looks like he's about to eat it, but you know what? That's okay. But yeah, I just think that, you know, the Hanzo, I was about my only reason I hesitated to go ahead and push, and then dude just gets clapped here in a second, as I recall, because the team realizes he's the only thing holding them back. Honestly, though, hindsight, maybe I could have made a play here, but it wouldn't have ended in anything except me dying, so. Okay, we got a pylon, but here I need to be taking a little bit more aggressive space. Are my supports back? Let's check. If we turned around, I would know this. I have both my Illari, my Baptiste. This is an opportunity for me not to boost her in, but to push forward and take a little bit of extra space, I think. That's my personal thought. Honestly, I could even boost her. I could boost her up to here. Push the Pharah off of the high ground here. She is going to be holding some space, preventing my team from peeking. If I were to push her off the high ground, I think that would be much better use of my abilities as tank. I have every ability. I even have my ulti. Instead, they aggress. I thought I could actually. I wasn't sure, but I thought with boosters you could carry someone in a lot like Orissa's, spin. Rookie mistake. That's not a thing you can do. It just does an initial boop. And now I know, right? Something I learned. Grab the mini, try and just kind of back out of here. I think I get demacked. Yep, I do. It's over here that I get demacked. Winston does a great jump. I end up having to burn my my ulti. Okay, I now realize the Winston. Okay, this is actually what I was expecting. You can see that instead of trying to just go past him, I'm chasing him. I'm using my boosters. My boosters. This is a diva issue that I need to work on. I need to actually really think about when I'm using boosters. I think I'm a little lost here in my positioning, but I'm still just damaging the tank. This is a terrible decision because I bet you if we back out of here, she's relatively isolated. I mean, and pressured. I mean, look at that. My Sojourn hit a great AoE. Now, if I had been where I should have been, we would have gotten the Sojourn. Our Sojourn dies anyway. I think she's up there. But I could have, now I do it here, which is great. But now it's too late. My team is all the way back here because that's where I was, and I'm moving too fast. So now I'm outside of my position. And I go in and almost get her, and then I think I die for it too. Fortunately not. My Baptiste and Illari both are goated. Back out a little bit here. Just kind of sustain, build up some more. Now, honestly, one of the best things I can do that I can think of here, we have the Pharah and the Mercy. They are kind of the problem here, and I need to be contesting them. One of the best things I can think of to do, I just am now realizing like a lot more things. I need to be up here. I know that high ground isn't ultimately everything you need, but the Pharah and the Mercy here, if I can get my boosters up, so I get boosters, get up here, hang out, wait for boosters again, I may actually be able to DM some of the rockets at least, and then eventually I can actually try and push into this. Now, kind of risky, because I don't really have anybody going with me, but right now, what am I doing besides sustaining with 100% health? Nothing. So I think I need to realize that when I have health, I need to go. Now, this isn't the worst possible thing here. Unfortunately, I don't get much value from doing that, but... Okay, now here. Yeah, good. Okay, I do realize that she's got ulti, so I wanted to back up a little bit there. Okay, there we go. Now we go in. It's a good cleanse, but now I boosted in. They cleansed Kitsune, and now I'm toast. And whose fault is that? Mine. It's not a great death. Not a good look. So far, I'm noticing a lot of issues with what space I am maintaining. Now, they capped that second point. Bit of a bummer. Not only am I maintaining the wrong space so far, I'm also just not shooting the right targets up until, well, like right now it's looking okay. Kiriko isn't bad. Let's see if we can force out a cooldown or something, but I am a little bit too low to be here still. Okay, now I can go back in. Right about here. I have some DM up. Some of my health back. Okay, we burst out. Nice. Now this right here. This is a nasty habit I have on D.Va. I just had to eat up my entire DM and lose a lot of space for that because my boosters I'm not using properly at all. This was a good booster because I left. Okay, we Hanzo ult for some reason. And again, okay, so my suspicion from the beginning is absolutely correct. It's not as egregious as I thought it was going to be, but I am definitely shooting their Winston way too much. Right now, I needed to be shooting that Mercy on engage. So when I come through here, Okay, this is all I have. One option, not bad. But right about here. Okay, I do. So it actually wasn't as bad as I thought there. Yep, I'm shooting the tank again. We're boosting in. Yep, we need to... Oh, boy. Yeah, that was just a bad play. I remember doing that when I did it. I'm like... I always think that I'm going to get these crazy D.Va bombs, and they just never work out. So at this point, I realize that D.Va isn't really working very well, and I go ahead and swap over to Orisa. Okay, monkey's low. I missed my spear, but I go ahead and jump in. Okay. Yep, soldier was the isolated target. So far, good priorities. A little bit low. So I come back around the corner. That, I think, actually was some of my best stuff. So far, really, the big things that I'd take away is that on D.Va, for some reason, into Winston, I'm really focused on the tank. That's been a really bad problem. The other issue that I'm seeing, though, is just my positioning. Like, I'm not really taking the right space. Now, right here, I absolutely am. This is great. But just with the Pharah Mercy they've had up until now, I mean, that was a big problem, and I was not contesting that. So I really need to be much more conscious about where I'm going and why I'm going there. Like, on tank, it's a little different than support, which is what I'm used to thinking about. Okay. All right. I need to not be standing right here. I'm just getting shot in the back by a Bob. Let's back up a little bit. Okay. So this is the last time I was close to full health. You know what I need to be doing, to be honest? I think this is a controversial take, but I think I go up here. I think I literally ignore everything on the low ground, come up here, and contest this Ashe who is suppressing my team from moving forward. That's pocketed by a Kiriko. Because if I come up here and then I javelin and push them, or javelin the Ashe or the Kiriko off of this and then use spear, or the spin, I think actually there's a play to be had here, but I didn't see that, didn't think about it. So instead, I waste the spear from down here. Now I'm low. Right here especially, I need to just full commit. They have a window there. I could have walked away from my team, but instead I just take a bunch of damage in the back from a Bob. Push the soldier back. So far, I think I'm trying to figure out, I'm kind of processing as I go, but I think the big piece here, besides the D.Va booster thing, which definitely is a big problem on my D.Va that I've noticed, I would say that I am not thinking about what I am doing. I am just doing it. There's no thought. There's no even a moment of pause where I go, why am I shooting this Winston right now? Why am I not pushing up to the high ground over here? Why am I not going up these stairs and just spearing them off the high ground? Because our Hanzo does that. I'm just now seeing this. Our Hanzo did that. I can bet if we back up just a little bit. Okay. Right here. When he bobbed, when the Ashe bobbed, our Hanzo goes up and absolutely claps the Ashe and the Kiriko. I bet you he gets both of them. He does. And if I had gone up with my Hanzo and had a little bit more awareness, this would have been a much easier one fight. Now, come back to my POV. We go back over to this soldier. Yep, this was good. At this point, you just burned the Zarya. She was overextended. I don't have a spear here, though. Now I do, and I bet you I use it. Yep. I mean, they're just grouped together. That was just an easy... I mean, how much ult charge do you get from that? So I'm 73. Spear. Yeah, 2 or 3% there. So it was a pretty reasonable, I think, thing to do there. The Ashe is very isolated. Honestly, I don't hate the idea. I mean, they're going back up to high ground. I think I was just not aware of where the pressure was coming from. Because if I go up top right now and ignore this Zarya completely, if I go up here, I can, even if I just stand right here, this is not a bad place because I can contest as they come through, drop if I need to. And if they come out, I just think my positioning was still really bad. But I will say my positioning near cover is way better, which was between the last VOD review and this one. I'm happy with this. This is a good thing. Doing cover well. I've got an ulti here. Wouldn't be a bad thing to go right on in on that, except now that they've Kiri ulted. Okay, we get the Kiri. Very unfortunate, but just kind of a poor timing. I needed to go sooner. Right about here. As soon as gold's over, no spear, just spin in and use my ult. Just about 2 seconds sooner. And I could have probably gotten them. That's okay. Let's fast forward. We'll skip into the next fight. I come out on Mauga, hoping to be able to get a little extra sustain. She grabs, and that's the end of round 1. All right, I come out on Mauga here, and I'm going to be honest with you, especially one of the things that I'm learning a bit more lately. I've been kind of stubborn about this in the past, but I'm learning to get over my ego and just listen to people who probably actually know more than I do, which is not hard to do. I'm plat 4. Let's be reasonable. I need to not be on freaking Mauga here. This is a throw pick. The fact that I even got away with this is insane. Okay, in higher elos, there's no way that I get away with a Mauga pick on first point Numbani on attack. Now on defense, you might be able to make an argument for it, but on attack, no. This was bad. Okay, so we're gonna go. I remember we go underneath here. And as I recall, we do get away with it because I think our Sombra hacks the Sigma, and I just light him up. Literally, we got away with that purely for that reason. We keep the res away by pushing the Mercy. Good target priority here. I don't hate that I started with the tank in this situation. Trying to get the Mercy. There's the Ashe. Mercy back in view. I need to get the Kiri. So I am just not very aware of what's going on. If I had gotten the Kiri there, the Mercy would have died because the Kiri was keeping the Mercy up. Something else I've learned about Mauga since this game is I understood that only his left turret, so to speak, was hit scan if you were using it on its own. Actually, both of them are that way. And the right one, as I understand it, does marginally more damage per shot. The big thing, the combo you want to do is basically light them on fire with the left and then let go of it and use the right. It's pretty rare you want to use both at the same time unless you're just trying to really burn somebody down, from what I've so far understood. All right, we get a good pick there. Looking at the, yeah, like right here. Do you see how much more spray there was? Now, it worked, but again, here, pushing, pressuring, good. We got point. This was a really good capture. Really happy with how this is starting so far. Yep, I am just feeding into that, which was kind of dumb, but okay, we make an aggressive play. Okay, we pushed them back. This is really good. Let's fast forward a bit until we get to the next fight. Okay, we're at the next fight. Again, though, kind of thinking about positioning here a bit. Why am I on low ground? Why not? I'm seeing positioning and taking space as the primary things that we want to take into this. Because now, if we had come up here and just been up here, is there any negative of being here versus where I am? Not really. Not in regard to their team. And just having this, you know, the Cassidy dropped down, but the Cassidy kept staying up top here for quite a while. I may have been able to keep our Hanzo up had I been on high ground. Unfortunately, I don't. But either way, yep, this is not bad. They're on Zarya now. We get her lit on fire. Not as worried about actually finishing off the kill. Reloading a bit. Realizing that I'm not in LOS of my supports. This is good. Looking behind me. I like that. Okay, I turn on the cardiac overdrive. I always hear what that's called. Oh yeah, we should be able to burn the Zarya here. Nice. A couple of great plays from my Sombra, actually. Okay, high noon. I just crouch behind. The Kitsune. I'm very, very, very in a good spot here to fight. Go ahead and get the Cassidy. I'm going to try and pressure them back. My armor went away, so I hid behind. There was no reason really to stay outside of that. So far, these Mauga plays look really good. Now, honestly, right here, I need to be looking for a cage fight. If I'm not mistaken, let's be sure. My whole team's here. Right? Kiri, Ana, Hanzo on a good flank. And some. Yeah, this is a run-in and cage fight moment. Let's see what I do. Wikitsune, I guarantee you I do it here. Actually, I remember now. But I waited. I waited. Waited way too long, in fact. And the Cassidy is up there just kind of fighting the two of them. Cassidy actually gets a pick because of the most skilled ability in the game. But we just burned 4 ultimates. That's really bad. Now, EMP, obviously looking for a good EMP here will work tremendously in our favor. I get Zen discorded. Did I really need to run out of there? No, let's back up a little bit. I think just space and understanding space is something I'm going to need to study a bit better and understanding what to do. Because right here, so let's play this out from an aerial view. Zen discords me right here. Start getting absolutely beamed. Why did I go right side and give up all of that space? Running out was not necessarily the worst idea, honestly. However, I had both my supports looking at me. So maybe running out was silly. Maybe instead of running out, you know, I was thinking maybe I could go to this other corner. No, I think it's even simpler than that. What if I just play cart? Yeah, so what? There's a Reaper. I have both of my supports and Cardiac. I stay on cart. I gave up so much space here, and there was really no need to. Okay, I'm damage botting the tank. Reaper's now here. Okay. That was purely because I was trying to play Malga like he was played when you released him into comp, Blizzard. Still not exactly thrilled about that. All right, we come out on Orisa here because I just really wanted to counter this guy, I'm not going to lie. I was trying to win with a mental warfare. Now, the Zenyatta's in the background. I need to be looking for a play on the Zen, but unfortunately, I push a little too hard. Get a great EMP. Okay, Kiriko on point. Yep, he got hacked out of his ult. That was actually a really big hack from our Sombra. Sombra now playing directly on point. Kind of a waste of gold there, if I'm honest. Oh, okay, we forced out Trank, but I don't think we get much out of it, to be honest. Besides the fact that we got Trank. Now, again, Zarya walked right by me, so I'm just going to go push into her Zenyatta. Yeah, I'm using my abilities without, like, preemptively instead of reactively. Some of these look really good. Some of these look really good, in fact. Yeah, these swaps looked really good. I think the play looks really good. Now, ultimately, we end up winning the game. I don't think we need to carry this video on much longer, though. I think I'm going to wrap this up with 2 basic points. Point number 1 is that I need to continue to focus on my target priority and really like iron that out. I think my positioning versus cover is looking way better than it did before, but the second piece I've been working on needs a little bit more brushing up, and that is focusing the right targets depending on the situation. But generally speaking, you want to focus with supports first, damage next, and then your tank. You don't really ever want to be sitting there just focusing the tank for no reason. The second point, and something that I actually learned a little bit more about in my live stream today, I had an incredible group of people that were helping me understand a few things, i.e. don't play Zarya into Pharah and think you're countering. Let's not get into that. But more importantly than that, by a landslide, was understanding why I am taking what space. And I've watched a Spylo video, but there was something about walking out a particular game I was playing with my community and seeing their perspectives of, hey, this is why you want to go here. And seeing the general consensus being the same was really encouraging to me, and it really helped me open my eyes a bit and recognize where I could be better. And ironically, it was actually another new money game. Anyway, if you found this video helpful at all, please do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You know the drill. You've been on YouTube for a long time, and I'll catch you in the next one.